I, 29F, never thought I would be making a post like this, but recent events have left me questioning everything about my relationship. Let me provide some background first. My boyfriend Adam, 28M, and I have been together for a year and a half. We met at our mutual friend Tom's housewarming party where Adam was helping set up the place. From the moment we started talking, there was an instant connection. He was working as a software developer at a growing startup, and I work in marketing. We bonded over our shared love of indie movies and rock climbing. He was charming, funny, and seemed genuinely interested in getting to know me. After exchanging numbers that night, we went on several dates and became official within a month. I should mention that I don't really have much family. My parents died in a car accident when I was 12, and my Aunt Rachel took me in. She was amazing, single, never married, but gave me all the love and support I needed. Unfortunately, she passed away last year from breast cancer. This loss has definitely affected how I approach relationships. I tend to be a people pleaser, always trying to keep everyone happy because I'm terrified of losing more people I care about. I also have lupus, which I was diagnosed with at 20. It's manageable with medication, and most days I'm completely fine. I just need to take my medications regularly and visit my doctor every few months for checkups. Sometimes I get flare-ups that leave me exhausted, but I've always managed on my own. Adam has been understanding about it, offering emotional support when needed, but I've never asked him for any physical help. From the beginning, I was honest with Adam about what I wanted in life: marriage, maybe kids in the future, a house with a garden. He seemed to want the same things. He would often talk about how his parents had been married for 35 years and how he wanted a stable, loving relationship like theirs. When he suggested moving in together after our first anniversary, I was overjoyed. We found a nice 2-bedroom apartment, and we're supposed to sign the lease next week. Everything seemed perfect until last week. I was at his place helping him pack some books when I found his diary. It was a simple black notebook, tucked between some old college textbooks. I know I shouldn't have read it, but things had felt off lately. He had been spending more time with his college friends, taking longer to reply to texts, and sometimes seemed distracted when we were together. My anxiety was through the roof, and I just wanted to know if everything was okay. The entry I read was dated just 2 weeks ago. The first part was about his day at work, normal stuff. Then he started writing about us. He wrote that he had been thinking about breaking up with me for the past month. He felt trapped, missing his freedom and spontaneous bachelor life. What hurt most was how he wrote about my illness. He said he wasn't sure if he wanted to deal with a chronically ill partner in the future, even though I've never once needed his help managing my condition. But then the entry took a turn that confused me even more. He wrote that while he had these doubts, I was ultimately a safe choice for marriage and settling down. He listed my qualities like he was writing a pros and cons list: good with money, responsible, organized, caring, would make a good mother. He mentioned how his parents adored me and how having a stable partner like me would help his career growth because his boss values employees with stable family lives. Reading that destroyed me. I sat on his floor for hours, reading those words repeatedly. Was this what I was to him? A safe bet? The responsible choice that would make his parents happy and help his career? What about love? What about all those times he talked about our future together? Was he just going through the motions because I fit some checklist of what a good wife should be? For the past week, I've been pretending everything is fine. We had dinner with his parents 2 days ago, and his mom kept talking about how happy she was that her son had found someone so grounded and responsible. I nearly broke down right there at the dinner table. Yesterday, we were looking at furniture online for the new apartment. Adam was excitedly planning where to put everything, talking about getting a dog once we're settled in. How can he plan a future with me while writing about wanting to break up with me? Is he just settling because it's easier than starting over? Or am I overreacting to what might have just been temporary doubts? My best friend Lisa thinks I should confront him before we sign the lease. She says I deserve someone who chooses me because they love me, not because I'm a safe option. But another friend, Rachel, suggested that maybe he was just working through normal pre-commitment anxiety in his diary and that I'm reading too much into it. The lease signing is in 5 days. We've already paid the deposit. His family is planning a housewarming party. Everything is in motion, but I feel paralyzed. Should I pretend I never read anything and hope his doubts were temporary? Should I confront him and risk being told that yes, I'm just a convenient choice? Or should I end things now before I end up in a marriage where I'm more of a practical decision than a love choice? I need advice. Am I throwing away a potentially good future over one diary entry? Or am I saving myself from years of being someone's backup plan? Update 1. Well, things exploded in ways I never expected. After my last post, I spent 3 days going back and forth about what to do. The lease signing was approaching, and I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. Finally, last Wednesday, I decided to confront Adam about the diary. I went to his place after work. He was packing kitchen stuff and seemed happy to see me at first. When I told him we needed to talk, his expression changed. I started by admitting that I had read his diary. His initial reaction was exactly what I expected: anger about privacy invasion. He threw the box he was packing aside and started pacing around the room. But then something strange happened. After his initial outburst, he became eerily calm. He sat down on the couch, ran his hands through his hair, and said, "Maybe it's good you found it. We need to talk anyway." What followed was 2 hours of brutal honesty that shattered everything I thought I knew about our relationship. Not only did he confirm everything in the diary, but there was so much more I hadn't read. For the past 3 months, he had been regularly meeting his ex-girlfriend Sarah. She's this free-spirited artist type who travels around the world painting murals. They dated all through college, 4 years, before breaking up because she wanted to move to Paris for her art career. Apparently, Sarah moved back to town 3 months ago. They ran into each other at their favorite college coffee shop, and according to Adam, old feelings resurfaced. They started meeting for coffee, then dinners, then weekend trips that he told me were work-related. All while I was planning our future together and picking out furniture for our apartment. I sat there, feeling like I was having an out-of-body experience, as he explained how seeing Sarah again made him realize how settled his life had become with me. He actually used the word domesticated, like he was some wild animal I had tamed. When I brought up all the times he had talked about wanting marriage and a family, he said he meant it then, but now he felt pressured and trapped. The worst part? His entire family knew about Sarah. His mother's sudden interest in our apartment decoration wasn't excitement, it was guilt. She had seen Adam and Sarah having dinner at an intimate restaurant 2 weeks ago. Instead of telling me, she decided to push us toward moving in together faster, thinking it would force Adam to make the right choice. His sister Emma had even helped him hide their meetings by providing alibis when he was actually with Sarah. I ended things right there. I couldn't even cry, I was too angry. I started gathering whatever belongings I had at his place. Adam kept switching between apologizing and defending himself, saying he was confused and needed time to figure things out. I told him he could take all the time he needed, but not with me waiting around. My friend Lisa came to pick me up and offered me her spare room until I figure things out. The next few days were a blur of canceling the lease, thankfully we hadn't signed yet, untangling our shared streaming accounts, and blocking Adam everywhere. But the real bomb dropped 3 days ago. I received a long email from Sarah. Apparently, she had no idea Adam and I were still together. He had told her we were breaking up because I was too clingy and dependent. She attached screenshots of their conversations from the past months, him planning trips with her, talking about their future together, even looking at apartments in the artsy district of town. All while he was helping me pick out curtains for what was supposed to be our home. I couldn't help myself, I forwarded everything to his mother. She called me within minutes, crying and apologizing profusely. The family hadn't known the full extent of Adam's deception. They thought he was just catching up with an old friend and would eventually make the right choice. His sister Emma also reached out, saying she had suspected something was wrong when Adam started missing Sunday family dinners to work late, but didn't want to interfere. Yesterday, I started hearing from mutual friends. Adam has been telling everyone that I broke up with him because I was insecure and invaded his privacy by reading his diary. Some of them have taken his side, saying I should never have read his private thoughts. Tom, at whose party we met, even sent me a long message about how disappointed he was in my behavior. The irony is, if I hadn't read that diary, I would have signed that lease. I would have moved in with him, probably married him eventually, all while he was living this double life. I would have been his safe choice while he pursued what he really wanted with Sarah. Lisa says I dodged a bullet, but right now it feels like I took it straight to the heart. I'm staying in her spare room, sleeping on an air mattress, surrounded by boxes of stuff I had already packed for what was supposed to be my new home. Every time my phone buzzes, I hope it's Adam calling to say this was all a horrible mistake, then I hate myself for still wanting that. Some people say I'm partly to blame for reading the diary. Maybe they're right. But right now, I'm just trying to figure out how to trust anyone again after this. Update 2: Just when I thought I had heard everything about this situation, life threw another curveball at me. 2 weeks ago, I was getting coffee at my usual spot when I ran into Adam's cousin Mike. The same Mike who was supposed to be one of the groomsmen at our future wedding, according to all those plans Adam and I had made. Mike looked uncomfortable seeing me but then asked if we could talk. We sat down, and what he told me over the next hour completely changed everything I thought I knew about this whole mess. Here's the real kicker: Sarah wasn't just back in town for her art. She had been dating Mike for the past year. They kept their relationship quiet because of her history with Adam. The family knew about it but agreed to keep it under wraps since Adam had always been sensitive about Sarah. When Sarah and Adam started meeting again, Mike initially thought his cousin was just getting closure. He trusted both his girlfriend and his cousin. But Mike showed me text conversations that painted a completely different picture. Adam had been actively pursuing Sarah, telling her that what they had was special and that he had never gotten over her. He told her I was just a rebound that got serious because I was convenient. At the same time, he was telling me Sarah was just an old friend he was catching up with. He was playing both sides, keeping me as his safe option while trying to convince Sarah to leave Mike for him. Remember that email Sarah sent me? Turns out there was more to that story. She didn't send it just out of guilt. She had just found out about a huge fight between Mike and Adam. When Mike finally confronted Adam about pursuing Sarah, Adam tried to blame everything on me. He told Mike I was suffocating him, that I was using my illness to manipulate him, and that he was looking for any escape. Mike couldn't take the lies anymore and told Sarah everything. The family dynamic was even more messed up than I initially thought. Adam's sister Emma had actually tried to warn me several times. But Adam always manipulated her by bringing up how she had ruined his relationship with another girl in college by interfering. He would guilt-trip her by saying she was always trying to control his life. His mother's recent behavior, pushing for our move-in, the excessive interest in our future, was her way of trying to force Adam to do the right thing because she felt guilty about staying silent. Sarah and Mike are still together. They both apologized for their roles in this mess. Sarah admitted that at first, she enjoyed the attention from Adam. She had always wondered if leaving him for Paris was the right choice. But she never intended to leave Mike. She had been trying to let Adam down easily while preserving her relationship with the family, not realizing how deep his manipulation went. The real victim in all of this, besides me, was Mike. He had to watch his cousin try to steal his girlfriend while pretending to be supportive of our relationship. The family is now divided, with most of them supporting Mike but some still making excuses for Adam's behavior. Yesterday, I got a call from Emma. She broke down crying, telling me how Adam had been telling the extended family that Mike had stolen Sarah from him, completely twisting the timeline of events. He's been playing the victim, saying he was just trying to reconnect with his true love when Mike interfered. The man I thought was just choosing between stability and freedom was actually orchestrating this whole drama, hurting multiple people in the process. He wasn't just keeping me as a safe choice, he was trying to maintain a backup plan while actively pursuing someone who was already in a relationship with his own cousin. Looking back at that diary entry now, I realized those words about me being a safe choice were just part of his self-justification. He was writing what he needed to believe to justify his actions. He wasn't trapped in our relationship, he was trapped in his own web of lies. Mike suggested I might want to warn future girls about Adam's behavior, but I declined. The truth is a way of revealing itself, as it did in this case. I'm just grateful I found out before signing that lease, before saying those vows, before building a life with someone who could hurt not just me, but his own family like this. Update 3: Life really does have interesting ways of working out. After my last update, I focused entirely on rebuilding my life. I found a nice studio apartment, threw myself into work, and got promoted to senior marketing manager. I also started a new treatment plan for my lupus, and amazingly, I've had fewer flare-ups in the past few months than ever before. But just when things were getting better, Adam resurfaced. Last month, Sarah and Mike announced their engagement on social media. Apparently, this sent Adam into a complete meltdown. He started showing up at my workplace during lunch breaks, claiming he had made a huge mistake and that I was the one he really wanted. He said he had been confused before but now realized I was his true love. Security had to escort him out twice. The situation got even messier after that. His family has completely cut ties with him. Emma reached out to warn me that Adam had been creating chaos within the family. He started sending anonymous messages to Mike suggesting Sarah was cheating on him. He created fake social media accounts to post old pictures of him and Sarah together, tagging Mike in them. The final straw came when he tried to announce his and Sarah's relationship on Facebook the day after their engagement announcement, claiming they had been secretly seeing each other. The mutual friends who initially sided with him have been reaching out to apologize. They finally saw his true colors when he tried to manipulate them into causing drama at Sarah and Mike's engagement party. He had convinced several friends that they were being deliberately excluded because of me, even though most of them weren't even close to Mike or Sarah. Lisa told me he even tried to join our local gym, probably hoping to run into me. When the gym staff recognized him from the workplace incident, they had been warned. He caused such a scene that they had to call the police. I ran into his mother at the supermarket last week. She hugged me and broke down crying right there in the produce section. She apologized again for everything and said the family misses me but understands why I had to cut contact. She mentioned Adam had moved to another city after the workplace incidents, telling everyone that his entire family had betrayed him for Mike. Remember that diary that started all of this? Lisa helped me burn it in a ceremonial bonfire along with all his other stuff he had left at my place. We invited some close friends, made s'mores, and turned it into a healing ceremony of sorts. Watching those pages burn, I felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders. Looking back now, I'm actually grateful I read that diary. Yes, it was wrong to invade his privacy, but it led to the unraveling of a web of lies that would have trapped me in a marriage with someone who never really loved me. Sometimes the hardest truths save us from even harder futures. Sarah and Mike invited me to their wedding next spring. I politely declined, not because I harbor any ill feelings, but because that chapter of my life is closed. I've started dating again recently, taking things slow. But the best part is, I'm not afraid of being alone anymore. I'd rather be by myself than be someone's safe choice or backup plan. Emma still checks in occasionally. She told me Adam has been trying to reconnect with the family, but they're maintaining their distance. His mother hopes he'll get help eventually, but I'm just grateful I'm not part of that story anymore. Sometimes the worst betrayals lead us to our best decisions. I'm still single, but for the first time in my life, I'm actually happy about it.